Hello, my name is Shane, and I'm joined by my daughter, Marlowe. Marlowe, say hello.
Hi.
How's it going, girl?
It's going all right. It's been a good day today.
It's been a pretty good day for me, too. We've been doing this podcast. How many podcasts have we done? 1,000, 100? Let me guess. Hold on. I'm going to try to guess.
Yeah, what's your guess?
I believe we have done 37 episodes at this point. How close am I?
Minus 30.
Minus 30. 37 minus 30 is 7.
Yay!
It's 7.
Yep. It's our 7th episode,
This is our
our
7th
lucky
one?
number 7.
Now, we've got a couple of conversations that we haven't aired yet.
Yes.
We've been holding them in our secret chamber.
We have a huge safe.
The vault. They've been in the vault.
We have a huge vault.
We have a huge vault, and
It's at our bank.
it's at our bank. That's right. I went to the bank and I said, listen, I need the keys to the
Secretive.
vault right now.
Super secretive vault.
So they said, right this way, Mr. Shane. They call me Mr. Shane at the bank.
Oh, gotcha.
So they said, right this way, Mr. Shane. And we go down this long corridor.
Oh.
The bank has a
Oh.
corridor, which is strange because it's in a strip mall. But
And it's so small. Wow.
there's a corridor. It's deceiving.
And there's a huge vault. And inside of it, network
Two episodes, 2 conversations, 2 segments.
And there are these 2.
That's all that was in the vault, though. I think that we'll put some more stuff in the vault later, but right now, just these 2. So
They're really important.
they're about something that is new and old-fashioned. It's my buddy Blue Kraning.
Yay.
I had a great conversation with him about something new and old-fashioned. He made me guess, so I'm not going to tell the audience what that is right now.
We can all
because
guess.
He'll give some clues.
Okay, cool.
But spoiler alert, I guessed it in like maybe 4 clues.
So it's pretty easy.
I don't know if it's pretty easy. I'm just good at guessing. I'm a good guesser.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
I'm a great guesser.
So you're extremely smart. This is a really
I didn't
hard.
say I was smart. I said I was a good guesser.
Interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes. And then I believe we have a conversation with Craig also about something new
and old-fashioned. You can use them today, or you can
Use them yesterday.
Yeah, it's like in the 80s. I don't know.
Sure, they're great today and yesterday. So how about we take a break right now, and when we return, we'll roll that tape with Blue. It's an old cassette tape.
It is old-fashioned.
We have an old.
I didn't say that was new.
We have an old cassette tape with both of these segments on it, and they were in the vault, and we're going to play them when we return.
To network interference.
So stick around. Now I'm here on the show, and I have my friend Blue on the telephone. Blue, are you there?
I am.
Oh, great.
Standing by.
Well, good. It's good to have you here. Good to hear your voice.
sir.
So, Blue, what are we talking about today on network interference?
Today we're going to talk about a very new and old-fashioned thing.
New and old-fashioned. I'm going to try to guess what this is. Something that's new. Let me think of something that's new.
Exploding skateboard? Not
Yeah,
an
Yes, an exploding skateboard is new, and old-fashioned is, I guess, a pinball
Fine.
machine is kind of old-fashioned now. So pinball machine and exploding skateboards.
Okay, those are 2 good guesses.
Is either one of those guesses
No.
correct? They're both
No.
incorrect.
And also, to your credit, you would have to ask about 25 questions to figure out what it is.
Oh, new and old-fashioned. Well, give me just one more hint, and then we'll go right into the show. Give me one
All
more
right.
hint. New and old-fashioned. I got that. New and old-fashioned.
So this is a thing that not many people have any contact with today. They'll sell them in the stores today.
You can still buy them in stores, yet no one actually buys them.
Yes, no one hardly even knows them. And they've existed since 1934.
1934. Hold on. It's liquor. Wasn't that?
No, but
It's a fine wine. It's a fine wine. from 1934.
Okay. They were utilitarian, and they were about the size of a domino.
Oh, about the size of a domino. Are they shaped like a domino?
Very similar.
Uh-huh.
Not exactly.
Okay.
But about
Could
the
you
same
domino
size.
them together? If you had a bunch of them, do the little domino tumbling trick.
Yeah, you could.
You
You could definitely.
Would they break?
In fact-
Would they break if they tumbled and hit?
Absolutely not. They would not break.
They would not break. They're strong.
Yeah, they're very strong.
All right. Well, this must be a Zippo lighter.
I don't know how you guessed that, but that is exactly what I was
Is that
thinking.
really? Is that it? I was either going to say either a Zippo lighter or a Viewmaster, but
I was going to say maybe a bar of gold, small bar of gold.
Well, that's really new and old-fashioned. The bar of
It is.
gold. Maybe a gold tooth. Isn't that new? Is that a new thing? Gold tooth?
Well, no, that's
Probably,
old.
yeah. Probably the pirates
And
were putting all kinds of stuff in their mouths.
Absolutely.
I heard that a cat's mouth is actually a lot nastier and germier than a dog's mouth, but a pirate, nasty. Got to be worse than a cat's mouth. You know what I'm talking about?
No
Have you ever seen
information
one of those pirate movies and look at their mouths?
Yes, but that was because they had no dentistry. I mean, and also
Wooden teeth? Did people have wooden teeth?
they did have wooden teeth.
Really? That was like last resort, wooden
they had
teeth.
wooden teeth, and they also had teeth made of whale bone.
Whale bone? Whale?
Yes.
A whale
Yes.
bone?
Yes. And
Really?
Actual ivory. These were implanted or held in a bridge position.
Uh-huh.
I thought we were here to talk about
Zippos?
Zippos, but we can talk about teeth as well.
But I tell you, those wooden teeth, that's when you didn't have enough money for a whale. That's when you couldn't find a beached whale anywhere.
Well, I mean, a person's got wooden teeth, that is.
Hey, it's better than nothing. Better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
Mejor que nada.
Tell me you don't have to replace those wooden teeth like every week.
I know.
Every week you go out and find a fresh teeth. You have to whittle your own teeth.
Yeah, that's right. You'd be whittling constantly. Hey, what are you doing over there? I'm whittling for my teeth next week.
Oh, my God. We're talking about Zippos, whittling, and dentistry. I think these are all connected somehow.
What's so special to you about Zippos? You've been fascinated by them for many years now.
Well, I am fascinated with small mechanics. Any device, including like a baseball cap or a pocket knife or a whistle or something mechanically simple yet completely reliable. And part of that is that I'm a survivalist and a prepper and spent a lot of time in the woods. And the Zippo lighter was a total improvement over what you could buy at the store in terms of matches.
You have an appreciation for items that you can carry that have multiple uses.
Yes. Also items that are very classic.
Zippos are certainly classics. They're a beautiful, beautiful instrument.
They are about as simple. It is literally a container that holds lighter fluid and then a thing that holds a striker and then a lid that goes over it. It's like simpler than a lantern, like the old-fashioned lantern that held kerosene. You had to lift it up and light it. It was, like these things always were starting your barn on fire. Whereas the Zippo became a World War II and Vietnam War icon because it was used by soldiers, because it was completely reliable. But it is kind of part of the mythology of Zippo.
They're indestructible, whereas humans are very destructible. Zippos aren't quite so much. So I can see the power of that mythology that they hold.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with history and also, if you're in the middle of the woods and it's raining or very windy, you want to start a fire, there's lots of ways to do that. But the Zippo lighter was, for 2 or 3 generations, it was the way to do that.
How did your fascination with Zippos first begin?
Apocalypse Now.
Watching the movie Apocalypse Now.
Watching the movie Apocalypse Now.
Is there a certain scene that you can recall?
Yeah, the main character reads these briefings on Colonel Kurtz as he's traveling up the river. And as he reads these briefings, there are these macro photography of both what he's reading and also Zippo lighter lighting a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes a shot of whiskey or whatever. This is part of the whole ambiance of the Vietnam War, that a toxic gasoline primitive tool was used to light your Marlboro.
Right.
Was as macho as you could get.
Now, about how old were you, reckon?
When I saw Apocalypse Now, I was 15 years old. Started smoking about 6 months later. I started using Zippos, and I bought my first Zippo when I was 17.
And you're like, hey, I can be like the guy from Apocalypse Now. For $20, I can be the guy from Apocalypse Now.
Exactly. If anybody has studied Apocalypse Now, they know that it's a very powerful film filled with lots of imagery that is powerful. So just him lighting a cigarette off of the Zippo lighter and all the sound effects that went with it were so intoxicating that, no, I was already a smoker then, but I switched from being a big lighter or a match smoker to being
you went from being an amateur to a professional cigarette smoker. I'm holding my first Zippo right now. Luckily, I have it inscribed, so I know the exact day that you gave it to me. It's my birthday in 1990.
Yeah, we're so young, man.
That's quite a while ago, right? We went to the mall in White Plains. There was the big mall, right. And there was a movie theater in the mall. So sometimes I believe we would see a movie there at the theater inside the mall.
Yep.
But they also had a smoke shop, a tobacco shop, right?
Yep.
With a case of Zippos usually. So we were at the mall in White Plains, and I'd never had a Zippo before, and it was my birthday. And you're like, you got to have a Zippo. I'm like, really? What's so special about a Zippo? And you're like, well, you just need to have one. So you bought the Zippo, and I still have it to this day. Now, I have added to my collection since then a bit, probably not nearly to the extent of your collection, but I've added some Zippos to it. But always the special one is the first one that I got in 1990, and it's Army Green. It's very simple. It's really a beautiful Zippo.
Oh, that's just my own military nature, and yeah, that was a good one.
It's a great one.
OD Green. I didn't know how long that was going to be around. I don't know if you get one today. It's kind of a tradition. The thing about Zippos, giving Zippos or knives, whatever you give to your friend, something that's lasting. And we were young. We were indestructible. Just like, if you're going to smoke, get a Zippo, man.
I love them. They're really beautiful to look at. They make great gifts. Love the Zippos.
Well, and you can always come up here to Western New York, where we have the case knife and Zippo lighter museum.
Really? They have that there. That's so cool.
They have that up near Hamburg, New York, and you can go inside, and every single Zippo that Zippo makes can be purchased there.
I would love to go to that museum. That sounds so cool. Now, what is one of your oldest Zippos?
In my collection?
Yeah.
I have two Vietnam War Zippos carried by soldiers with their actual name on it. And,
really? Wow.
And one of them is not Zippo brand, and the other one is Zippo brand, but there were so many knockoffs happening at the time, and you could go into Saigon, you could go into Japan, you could go into Hong Kong, all these places, and get your Zippo made perfect, just like a tattoo. Then in Vietnam, it became almost a tradition for every single person that smoked to carry a lighter with their own military insignia. And essentially, carrying a Zippo lighter became a survival tool in many wars, Vietnam, Korea, and World War II.
Interesting. Now, Blue, you also taught me when we were in college a couple of Zippo tricks. The trick is making the Zippo open, right? Making it open up in a single motion.
Okay, so a hand trick would be that you would hold the Zippo top to bottom, your thumb on the bottom and your 3 fingers on the top, and you would flip it and it would open and it would light.
And everyone goes, "Oh, that's so cool. I
Everyone
know
goes,
that trick.
"Ooh,"
I can do
light
that
the
one."
girl's cigarette, and then she falls in love with you, and
That's
everything's great.
That's right.
Um,
There's another one where you're holding it a certain way and you hit your wrist with your other hand. You pound
and
your
then
wrist.
That one is where you put the lighter in your left hand, your fist.
Mm-hmm.
You hit the back of your fist, and that pops the lighter top open, and then you snap your fingers right on the flint, and the striker sparks the flint, and then you have a flame.
Right. That's
So
when
just
you're really good at it.
well,
I can only do the first part. I can only make it pop open.
I probably
I might need a refresher course on that
I've
one.
forgotten them all. It's not.
Well, this has really been a lot of fun learning more about the Zippo lighters. They're great. I appreciate you talking to us or talking to me on the show. We'll have Marlowe back. We'll have you back on the show, and we'll have Marlowe back in here, and we will discuss some other fascinating topic. I know that we've got a half a dozen of them.
Yes, we do. Having topics for your show is not a problem.
Or guests. Well, thank you, Blue. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, sir. Yeah, awesome day, and look forward to future episodes.
Thanks, Blue.
All right, thank you.
And we're back on the show. Network interference. We had a lot of fun listening to the conversation with Blue.
Yes, I had a lot of fun. I guessed it in 2 guesses.
Oh, you guessed what it was going to be about in 2 guesses.
Yep, I'm a prodigy.
You knew it was going to be about Zippo lighters. You're a good guesser. Good guesser. You're the daughter of a guesser. Got good old guessing.
Guess what we're about to talk about.
You got guessing blood running through your veins. Is there another segment that we're playing on the show today?
Yes, it's with Craig.
Craig Lechner. And it's about something that's new and old-fashioned too, right? And it's been in the vault. So glad I rescued it from the vault. I feel like they needed my help.
They needed to be heard. They needed to be heard on this lucky number 7 episode.
Lucky number 7 episode. Here's our conversation with Craig about something new and old-fashioned. All right, what do you have for us today, Marlowe?
Okay, so today we are going to be talking about arcade games.
Woo! All right.
Do you like arcade games?
Love them.
I never really played them growing up, but I know that y'all did.
Yeah, I would never take you to the arcades, and there was a reason why. Because they had a chain on the door with a lock on them. Craig, did you frequent arcades when you were a youngster?
There was like a little convenience store, and I remember, well, they got one machine. So before we took the bus to school, I remember it was like Space Invaders was, of course, like the first big one.
Space Invaders. That's one of the OG original.
That's what it says. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to talk about. It was like these invaders are coming. They're kind of squiggly. You're kind of shooting them. I guess you're defending the planet.
You have little barriers that you can hide behind.
You work for the government. They don't say it, but I assume you work for the government.
Probably.
You know,
yeah,
I
it's just
assume
an
you're a
easy
government
game.
worker.
Yeah.
You know, it was a whole new adventure world, but it was also another way to like weed out the cool kids for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So,
which ones were the cool kids? The ones that were
the cool
playing,
kids
or
were
the ones that were not playing?
Of course, like the popular kids were also really good at the video games for some strange reason. There were some nerdy kids that were good at it, but like mostly it was like the cool kid. I remember this kid called Dondi. His name was Dondi. He'd come in, lay down his quarters.
Hey, it's Dondi. He's coming in. Back away, everybody. Give him some room.
Like his name was number 1 on the scoreboard.
Dondi.
Okay.
It's like, are those your quarters? Don't matter. Your quarters aren't worth as many quarters as Dondi's quarters. Dondi's quarters are worth more than yours when it goes on the board, you know? Dondi got all the girls. He got all the attention. Even the teachers loved him. Little Dondi, they would wink at him. There they go, winking at Dondi again. No teachers winked at me.
Wow.
They winked at Dondi for sure.
We had a skate center, and that's where I played my first video games. Space Invaders and Asteroids.
Yeah, Asteroids was pretty good, but a lot of these games made me neurotic a little bit, because like the aliens are coming down. It's like, and even like Asteroids, it caused a lot of neurosis, almost getting killed by the thing. You're good at first, and then you're going to die. It's sort of like life, eventually you're going to die.
You're good at first, and then you're going to die. So that's...
Yeah, exactly. It's like things are easy. You think things are great, and then when life gets harder and harder, it's over, So.
Right, but at least you have 3 lives.
Well, the thing about those video games too is like the kids with money always had an advantage, right? Because you had to dump a lot of quarters into those things. I mean, some of them were real,
Yep.
It wasn't cheap.
And you died a lot of times real fast.
Marlowe, what arcade games do you recall at all? We used to go to Chuck E. Cheese quite a bit.
Yep, I was a Chuck E. Cheese baller.
So what kind of games did you play at Chuck E. Cheese?
At Chuck E. Cheese, I would play like the bowling game. What is it?
Skee ball.
Skee ball?
Yeah,
Skee ball.
Skee ball's a fun game, yeah.
And
Yeah,
they had that
Playtime
one
Pizza.
Deal or No Deal game.
The Deal or No Deal game. Marlowe and I played that game quite a bit.
Now, Chuck E. Cheese is he a mouse? Because he looks like a rat.
I think he's a rat. I think he's a rat.
I don't know
He
the
is, like,
difference between a
technically a
mouse and a rat.
A rat is kind of big and is usually diseased in a subway. A mouse is kind of in your cupboard. You're like, oh, honey, a mouse.
Actually, I'm
You
a
know?
rat.
Oh, honey, a mouse. Oh,
Yeah.
look, honey, a mouse in the cupboard.
Oh, dear, get it out, please. Oh, honey.
Yeah, a rat is the
A
one that
rat's
you'd
like,
see
oh
with
my
pizza.
God. It's like in New York City, they
Yes.
like a pizza in one hand and a fetus in the other, and they're like going down into
Right.
the subway to get into no hijinks.
What do we think about Pac-Man? I went through a short Pac-Man fever.
I like Pac-Man. It really gives me anxiety, though.
Really?
Yeah, getting chased after those ghosts. It's like I can't handle it. It's just too stressful for me, honestly. Yeah, I know. They stress me out.
What I feel bad is like I kind of feel bad that these ghosts were probably some human being that died. You know what I'm saying? And like you
yep,
figured they'd
the
go
Lord.
to heaven and be with the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
And now they're just
But
confused. They're just...
Now they
in a
eat
maze.
little-
Like imagine if that's what happens to us when we die. We just become a ghost in a maze and we're chased. That would be horrible.
Well,
What a
if you don't live
horrible-
right, you might.
Yeah, and if you eat Pac-Man, then you get to go to heaven.
You don't even know. Like some of them ghosts in Pac-Man might even be like Elvis. You have no idea.
You got
But
Yeah,
they
this
all
is
look
the
the
next
same.
stage of
Blinky, Pinky, Stinky, and Dinky?
Stinky? Really?
Winky?
And Winky?
Blinky?
Well, the other thing
Stinky?
is, I think
Stinky?
Miss Pac-Man brought back wearing a bow. You know, girls weren't wearing bows in their hair. And then when
Okay.
Miss Pac-Man came out, girls were like, well, maybe I can wear a bow in my hair.
Really?
She was a
Yeah.
fashion. She was a fashion
Fashion
icon. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, and you think about it, how many girls wear a big old bow in their hair these days? Not too many.
Not too many. I used to. When I was in high school, or not high school, in middle school, I used to wear big bows all the time,
Because they're cute.
Yep.
I guess.
Bring them back. Bring back bows.
Did you play Donkey Kong?
I played Donkey Kong a little bit. I kind of liked it a little bit. I sort of like the barrels. I'm kind of like, where are all these barrels coming from? You know,
What was in the
what are
barrels?
Yeah, like what? I never forgot what was in the barrels. Like, was it just like he was on the docks or something? And that's where they shipped in like grain and sorghum, in the barrels. I think it was soybeans. I could tell.
Soybeans.
Yeah, definitely in them barrels full of soybeans. Just the way that he would throw them, or the way that he would chuck them. But and it was great. And the guy had to jump over the barrel and stuff. And I remember one. What was the one where you had to swing over like crocodiles? And one?
Now that
Like-
wasn't an arcade. That was Pitfall, and I loved it. And I spent a lot of time playing Pitfall,
Pitfall.
on Atari.
I remember Pitfall. That was a really great game. It's just swinging on a vine. Who wouldn't think swinging on a damn vine
With the
would be
little
so exciting?
crocodiles under the swinging over the
exciting.
crocodiles and
You just
jumping
swing
on the
around.
crocodiles. It was a good game.
Literally, it's all timing. You're just pressing a button.
Yeah.
Bang, that was really exciting for us.
Yeah, those were fun. I like games like that.
What other games do you
So,
remember? Arcade
Asteroids,
games.
I remember the one with the ball. We
Centipede.
were talking about before, Centipede.
I
And
have
I
Centipede.
really enjoyed that one a lot because I actually got a workout on that one. I wasn't in shape shape at all. And I think I actually got a little exercise doing that one. The ball took some effort.
It wasn't the only game that utilized a ball, but Centipede was probably my favorite.
Centipede, you would get really into it, and you would hurt. Like, it would pinch your hand. You twitched it the wrong way, and it would your
skin got between the ball and the hole. Yeah, it's a little ball that you roll.
Oh, I've never played any games.
Probably about the size of a pool ball.
Okay, and you roll. Oh, I like having the controller.
It's pretty cool, but Craig's right. You can pinch your skin a little bit.
Ouch.
But it's I had a Centipede game when I was probably about 22 years old in my apartment, and I bought the Centipede game from Chuck E. Cheese.
Street Fighter?
Street Fighter. Those fighting games. I didn't do the fighting games
I like
much.
the fighting games.
Yeah, you're good at them.
I suppose Street Fighter is pretty good because you really knew you were making progress. Right? You had to like go down an alleyway. And what I like about that is this whole idea is like fights go down in the alley. And that taught me that lesson in life. Like, don't go in certain alleys, because if you go in certain alleyways,
you're gonna get in a fight.
Right? And like, it's always in every movie, right? If people go in the alley, there's gonna be some bad guys there, right? Like Batman, where was it? Some kind of alley where his parents got killed.
Always an alley.
So you gotta really be careful of alleys.
Especially the dark ones.
You never know what's going to happen in alleys. But you could find a bag of money in an alley.
Some uneaten food. A rat with a slice of pizza.
One of my favorite ones of all time. I don't know if you remember this one. It was in the arcades back in the day. It was one of the original Star Wars games, and it was like you sat in it, kind of like and you got to like blow up the Death Star. That was my jam. It was like 360 and beep, 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 beep. I remember the music and everything.
I liked all the ones that you sat in.
I remember I used to play this one where you were kind of like in a Jeep, and it was shaped like a Jeep, and you
had guns.
Yeah, you had guns, and then you were
dinosaurs.
shooting like dinosaurs and bugs, like huge bugs.
I liked the early like shoot 'em up games where you had a gun. There was some kind of robber one. It was kind of like almost a cop simulator.
I remember a cool game called Spy Hunter. And
yeah, that was really good too.
You drove the car and you shot the bad guys in other cars, and then sometimes you could drive your car into a like an 18-wheeler, like a big rig, and then back it up, and you've somehow made some advancements to your car or something, maybe some extra guns. But it was a cool game, Spy Hunter, and it had good music. Remember the cartoon one? It was actually
Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair, I would just die. I would just die. There's some games I would just die.
Put a quarter in, 17 seconds later, you're dead.
Here in the city, they got like this thing called Barcade and Dave & Buster's and stuff.
Right.
I hate to say this, if you're out there and your kid is named Billy, I apologize, but I have the expression called Billy's. And there's always going to be Billies running around. Billy, so I'm not going in there with all them Billies.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I tell my kids before we go in, I'm like, kids, go in and give me a Billy count. Give me a Billy count. If it's a good Billy count, we're going to go in. If it's a bad Billy count, we're going home. So they give me a Billy count. If it's a good one, then we're going to go play, Call that Billy count.
Billy count.
Billy count.
Wow, that was a lot of fun talking about things that are new and old-fashioned.
It was. I had so much fun.
That was fun. Blue had a lot of great information about Zippos. He's really a fascinating person. And we talked with Craig about arcade games. I really had a good time playing arcade games when I was a youngster. And frankly, I still enjoy them. I had a lot of fun on the show today. Thanks a lot, Marlowe, our 7th episode. So that means that our next episode is number 9. Right? So our 9th episode is next. Excited about that.
I don't even want to correct you.
Number 9. Lucky number 9.
Our next 8th episode will be a great one.
I bet you it will be.
I bet it will be. I don't know what it is yet.
But we don't have any more episodes in the vault. So
we really don't. We're going to have to
cook one up.
We're going to have to get it together.
All right, Marlowe, we will see you soon on episode 11.
Yes.
And hopefully some episodes before that.
Bye, everyone.
Probably the pirates. Probably the pirates for putting all kinds of stuff in their mouths.
Better than
But I tell you, those
know.
wooden teeth, wooden teeth. That's when you couldn't find a beached well anywhere.